Sonic the Hedgehog has plenty of characters, some more iconic than others. We've been able to play as a bunch of furry folks over the years, but today we're laying them out all in one video. This is every playable Sonic character ever, with a few bonuses thrown in there too. Sonic. Since everyone here knows who this blue menace is, I'm gonna give you some trivia about this chili dog-loving hedgehog. Before he was a hedgehog, Sonic was originally conceived as a rabbit that could use his ears to fight. Sonic's creators were deciding between a hedgehog and an armadillo, because they wanted an animal who could roll. When they finally chose a hedgehog, Sega was nervous that Americans wouldn't know what it was. His name was also Mr. Needle Mouse for a hot second before it was Sonic. So yeah, Sonic could have been very different. You can probably tell that Felix the Cat and Mickey Mouse influenced Sonic's character design. But so did Michael Jackson. The boots from the Bad album sleeve were the inspiration for Sonic's iconic shoes. Miles Tails Prower. Tails is Sonic's ever-loyal sidekick. He's a whiz mechanic and pilot, and he's as sweet as he is smart. Not to mention, he built and piloted a mech. As a kid, he was bullied for having two tails, hence his nickname. He's also terrified of thunder and lightning. He really just wants to be as cool as Sonic one day, but if you ask me, he already is. Knuckles. Knuckles is the protector of the Chaos Emeralds and last remaining descendant of the Knuckles clan. He's a gullible, headstrong loner with a short fuse. He spends most of his time on Angel Island guarding the Master Emerald. See that white crescent on his chest? That was supposed to be a Nike swoosh as per a brand deal between Nike and Sega. The deal clearly fell through, but Knuckles still loves grapes after all these years. Amy Rose. Amy Rose is most known for her gigantic Pico Pico hammer and her even more gigantic crush on Sonic. Originally, she was portrayed as more of a happy-go-lucky tomboy who was into tarot, but her personality has changed quite a few times since then. Metal Sonic. He's like Sonic, but metal. Sure, these two look similar, but they actually couldn't be more different. Metal Sonic is a cold, serious killer, created by Dr. Robotnik. He hates Sonic and wants to destroy him at any cost. That hasn't worked out for him just yet, but their rivalry is so strong, it's even made its way into the Olympic Games. Mighty. Mighty is a bit of a deep cut, but he recently got a surge of popularity as a playable character in Sonic Mania Plus. Like his name suggests, Mighty is incredibly strong, but as strong as he is, he's still a gentle soul and only fights if it's absolutely necessary. He also lent a hand to Knuckles and the Chaotix. Ray. Ray is a bit of a goofball and a good friend of Mighty's. Since his first adventure with Mighty, he's also returned as a playable character in Sonic Mania Plus. In Sonic Generations, you'll find Ray and Mighty on missing persons posters. Vector. Vector the Crocodile is the head of the Chaotix Detective Agency and works with CHARMY B and ESPIO the Chameleon. He's got a rough exterior. There's a heart of gold under that chain of his. He loves money almost as much as his friends. Also, he was originally conceived to be in the Sonic the Hedgehog band, probably as the singer. CHARMY. The youngest member of Team Chaotix, CHARMY B is a fun-loving, scatterbrained kid who loves to poke fun at his boss, Vector. Even though he annoys Vector constantly, CHARMY really looks up to him, and the two have a close bond. CHARMY also thinks Shadow the Hedgehog is cool, but who didn't when they were a kid? ESPIO. ESPIO the Chameleon is the third member in the Chaotix detective trio. ESPIO's seriousness balances his teammates' silliness. He studies the art of ninjutsu and is a master of stealth. Unless something startles him, then his cover is blown. He started off as a hothead, but he's since calmed down. Ninjas have to keep their cool, you know? Fang the Sniper, aka Knack the Weasel. Fang has an identity crisis. His name and species have been changed around multiple times. In his first iteration, he was Knack. Knack was originally developed as a gerboa, which is like a weird little kangaroo gerbil thing. Then they decided Knack was a gerboa-wolf hybrid. And then they felt that Knack sounded too close to Knuckles for Japanese audiences, so they held a contest to rename him. The winning name was Jet, but they decided to go with Fang instead, which is kind of hilarious. But Jet does pop up later. Meanwhile, in North America, they decided the character would still go by Knack, and that his species would be a weasel. He also had a gun, but they took it away from him and gave it to Shadow eventually. Whatever species he is, and whatever his name is, I think we can all agree that Sega should really give this poor critter a break. Bark. In Bark's debut game, Sonic the Fighters, he is the super strong guardian of the Chaos Emeralds. So he's basically Knuckles, but a massive white bear. He loves to snowboard and has a cameo appearance in Sonic Mania, being the DYNAMITE. Though his name says the DYNAMITE, he is, in fact, a woodpecker. He also guards the Chaos Emeralds in Sonic the Fighters. Like his name suggests, he's got some explosive power and can generate bombs. He's also a huge soccer fan. Honey. Honey only appears in the 2012 version of Sonic the Fighters. If you want to play as Honey, you have to press start while selecting Amy's picture, and then boom, you have both Honey and her achievement. She also has a human counterpart in the game Fighting Vipers, which Sonic the Fighters is based on. Chaos. Chaos was the OG guardian of the Chaos Emeralds and Master Emerald in ancient times before Knuckles was ever around. The immortal energy god was kicking it with the Chao colony until the Knuckles clan attacked. He was imprisoned for thousands of years until Eggman unleashed him in the hopes that he would help him conquer the world. But that doesn't exactly work out. He almost destroyed the world once he absorbed the power of the Chaos Emeralds, but Sonic chilled him out. Big. This iconic big boy loves his fishing, peace and quiet, and above all else, his best friend, Froggy. He's also like a big brother to Cream the Rabbit and Amy Rose. E102 Gamma. This guy started out as one of Eggman's lowly robot henchmen in the E100 series, but after he saw Eggman scrap his brothers, he had a change of heart, betrayed his creator, and became friends with Amy. He sacrificed himself to free the little bird inside of him and returned to his family. R.I.P. E102 Gamma. TIKAL. TIKAL is a kind-hearted pacifist from the Knuckles clan. TIKAL was friends with Chaos, and when she discovered that her own father planned to steal the Chaos Emeralds and the Master Emerald, she tried to warn Chaos. Unfortunately, Chaos couldn't leave the altar of the Emerald. Her father ignored her pleas, so TIKAL was forced to seal both herself and Chaos in the Master Emerald. Shadow. Shadow isn't just a hedgehog. He's a hedgehog Black Arms hybrid. You know, the ultimate life form. What's a Black Arms? Well, they're basically vicious, edgy aliens that consume planets, and are led by a Triclops wizard thing named Black Doom. With some DNA from Black Doom, Gerald Robotnik created Shadow to help develop a cure for Maria Robotnik's deadly illness. Shadow and Maria grew very close, and Maria ended up sacrificing herself to save Shadow when Gun raided the space colony Ark. Oh, and yeah, Shadow used guns that one time. Happy? Had to get that out of the way. Rouge. Rouge the Bat is many things. A jewel thief, a treasure hunter, a government spy, and an all-around bad who isn't afraid to use any means necessary to get what she wants. She uses her smarts, sass, and charm to navigate through most challenges she faces. Even her name has many levels. It's a lot like the word rogue, you know, because she's a jewel thief. Rouge is also the French word for red, which is often associated with romance, and we all know Rouge is a flirt. And I guess it's also a pun on Baton Rouge, Louisiana, but that one might be a stretch since I've never seen Rouge eating a po' boy. Cream. Cream is a sweet little rabbit with a pet chow named Cheese. Sometimes she plays the sidekick to Amy or Blaze, much like Tails is for Sonic. She was supposed to be a fox just like Tails, but then they decided to change her to a squirrel before finally landing on the bunny she is today. Emerald the Gizoid. Emerald was the most powerful Gizoid created by the Nocturnus clan to help them dominate the world. Too bad they all got sucked into the Twilight Cage, an alternate dimension consisting of nebulas and planetary fragments. Emerald was the only one left behind and was eventually discovered by Gerald Robotnik, who then started Project Gizoid. Similar to Shadow the Hedgehog, Emerald was given a soul, a sense of free will. Actually, Gerald Robotnik left Project Gizoid to focus on Project Shadow. E123 Omega. This guy is out for vengeance. He was the final and also most powerful of the E-series robots. Eggman decommissioned the whole series, so Omega is on a mission to take revenge on Eggman for letting his potential go to waste. His bulkiness and firepower make him the power-type member of Team Dark. Also, he's headstrong and edgy, so he fits right in with Shadow and Rouge. And he has guns, so I'm sure he and Shadow get along well. Blaze. Blaze the Cat is a pyrokinetic princess from an alternate dimension. She takes her role as ruler and guard of the Soul Emeralds very seriously. She is elegant but reserved and never had any real friends before she met Sonic and Cream. Now she goes back and forth between her home dimension and Sonic's to see all of her pals. Jet. The legendary wingmaster, Jet the Hawk, is the arrogant leader of the Babylon Rogues. While he's usually pretty lax about his responsibilities, he knows when to step up as a leader and command his team. He's a master of extreme gear and is determined to beat Sonic and be the fastest thing in the universe. Wave. Wave is a tech expert, and makes sure her team's extreme gear is always performing at their peak. She's often the voice of reason for the Babylon Rogues, but they usually just ignore her. Seriously, she cannot stand how stubborn her team can be at times. Ever bold and confident, she is highly critical of others' extreme gear, and isn't afraid to share her thoughts when someone else's equipment doesn't meet her high standards. Storm. Basically the bird form of Sonic Boom Knuckles, Storm is a big, buff dum-dum. He is ever devoted to Jet and will carry out whatever is asked of him, usually without thinking about it first. This guy is equal parts hothead and klutz, so he's pretty used to embarrassing himself. Silver. Poor Silver, what a game to make a debut in. And yet somehow, he survived to see other games. Silver is a psychokinetic, time-traveling hedgehog from 200 years in the future who traveled back in time to save his world from destruction. Silver is an all-around nice guy with a strong sense of justice. He's a bit naive at times, but he always tries to stay positive. If you're a Dragon Ball Z fan, think of Silver as the Trunks of Sonic's world. Shade. Shade is a member of the Nocturnus clan and the leader of the Marauder forces. She's a disciplined and regal figure who serves Emperor Ix until she realizes the true evil nature of his plans. When her design was first released in the comic adaptation of the game, fans thought she was a goat. Only after the game was released, we find out she was actually an echidna the whole time. Styx. A rough and tumble kind of gal, Styx lived alone most of her life. She was never the type to have friends until she befriended Sonic and his pals and became a part of the Sonic team. Although her first appearance is in Sonic Boom: Rise of Lyric, she isn't playable until Sonic Boom: Shattered Crystal. Avatar. Sonic Team finally gave us the power to play as our very own Sonic OC. Well, a tamer version at least. There are 7 different species to choose from when crafting this custom hero: wolf, rabbit, cat, dog, bear, bird, and of course, hedgehog. Avatar starts out as a coward who wants to join the resistance, but ends up being a hero just like their hero, Sonic. Dr. Robotnik, aka Eggman. Dr. Robotnik is a man who needs little introduction. Eggman is the genius scientist obsessed with world domination and stopping his rival Sonic. Though he almost always fails, he never stops trying. Gotta love that persistence. Even though he has an IQ of 300, he usually acts very childish and makes a big stink when things don't go his way. They're longtime enemies, but both Eggman and Sonic have huge egos and often let their pride get the best of them. Eggman NEGA. Just looking at him, Eggman NEGA is just a color-swapped Eggman with a white mustache. When we first met him, Eggman NEGA was Eggman's doppelganger from Blaze's universe, but the canon has shifted around since then. Now, Eggman NEGA is a descendant of Eggman from 200 years in the future. He can't stand OG Eggman and believes that he has tarnished the family name. He also takes part in the 2016 Olympic Games.
SCR HD.
SCR HD is the main antagonist of Sonic Riders Zero Gravity. Dr. Eggman's Meteor Tech company created SCR HD, and he's the leader of SCR GP Army. SCR HD is also one of the users of the Ark of the Cosmos, ancient Babylonian rings that allow them to manipulate gravity. SCR GP. SCR GPs are generic, mass-produced versions of SCR HD. When you play SCR GP or SCR HD, you don't actually ride extreme gear. Instead, the robots curl into a wheel and function as if they were the wheel-type extreme gear themselves. ZAVOK. ZAVOK is the fierce, power-hungry leader of the Zeddies and former leader of the Deadly Six. In Sonic Lost World, Eggman forces ZAVOK and his crews to help Eggman take over the world using an edgy shell called the cacophonic conch. It's kind of like a dog whistle, but for Zeddies. With the conch, Eggman had ZAVOK and the Deadly Six under his control, until ZAVOK finally broke free. ZAVOK might be a pun on Havok, the physics engine used to create Sonic Lost World, as well as many other modern Sonic games. He's also a special playable character in the boxing event in Mario and Sonic at the Rio 2016 Olympic Games. Zaz. Zaz is another nasty member of the Deadly Six in Sonic Lost Worlds. He's a loose cannon and loves to fight no matter who his target is, and that competitive nature serves him well. Turns out he's also extremely good at table tennis and flexes his skills in Mario and Sonic at the 2016 Rio Olympic Games. Xena. Xena is a vain, malicious gal who really loves her nail art. She's the only member of the Deadly Six to only have 1 horn, as opposed to 2 or more, and she's the only humanoid female character to not be given any clothes in the Sonic series. Xena was added to the roster for Sonic Force's Speed Battle in the version 2.15.0 update. Honorable mentions. We've got plenty of playable characters, but that doesn't mean they've all really made much of an impact. Sorry to all you SCR GP fans, but that thing isn't exactly the most popular. So we've still got to shout out some characters that, while not technically playable, deserve a spot on this list. Marine the Raccoon is pretty much the Tails to Blaze of Sonic in that alternate dimension. Mephiles the Dark is nobody's favorite villain, since he's really just a weird crystallized palette swap of Shadow. And then there's Irish the Hedgehog, the newest member of the Sonic family that popped up on St. Patrick's Day. And you know what? If Sega's dropping new characters out of the sky, then I'm gonna honor a classic Sonic tradition, and you know what? I'm gonna make my own OC, Marcus. A bit too sarcastic and cynical for his own good, at least Marcus the Tiger means well. He doesn't quite have a heart of gold, but he certainly doesn't have a heart of mold. He's most defined by his love of chicken wings and craft beer. I feel better now that that's off my chest. What's your original character? Let me know, and be sure to subscribe to the leaderboard. All players and OCs are welcome. I've been your host, Marcus the Tiger. Thanks for watching.